This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
Everyone. We're in a happy mood tonight. It's a Sunday evening. And guess what? Wolves have beaten, as you know, we're still buzzing from yesterday. I'm sure we all are. Wolves have beaten Liverpool in the league. I think it's for the first time since something like 1981. They've won 11 times against us, a streak of 11 wins in the top division against us. If they'd have beaten us again, it would have equalled their all-time of 12, which, funnily enough, one was against Notts County from something like 1920 to 1953 or something like that. And then the other one was against the Baggy Birds down the road. They did that against them 12 times. So we got rid of that. Not only that, we've had a bit of payback for getting us for that farcical defeat in the FA Cup. They've got knocked out the FA Cup, and we've won 3-0. And you know, Molineux was rocking as well. We've got some fantastic, amazing guests and Wolves fans lined up. You know, some legends, as you probably will recognise as well. And we're going to get stuck into it. And there is one other thing that we're going to do tonight. We're going to do the little wheel as well. But we're doing another little thing tonight. It's something brand new. And that is, there's a word that every one of the pundits and the fans have got to slip in somewhere, and it's your guys in the chat. You've got to try and discover what that word is. So we're going to get stuck in and we're going to get started. I can tell you that we've got Jason, we've got Lucy, we've got Josh, we've got Chris from Wolf Life, we've got Craig, we do have Manny as well, and we've got Chris, who I think's abroad. The other Chris Humphreys, coming in as well. But we're going to kick off this evening with Lord Jason Guy. How are you doing, sir?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic. We've got Chris from Wolf Life and Acorn to Oaks, who have Power Extra Time. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm great, mate. How you doing?
Absolutely fantastic, mate. Fantastic. And we've got Tuber Wolves Craig. And it turns out, before we get started, because we was in the green room, and Tuber Wolves Craig and Chris from Wolf Like and Acorn to Oaks actually have history together.
Oh, do they now?
Not biblically, not in that sense.
Oh, yeah. There wasn't nasty divorce, was there?
There would be nothing wrong with that either. But before we get started, guys, Craig, tell us how you know each other. Apparently, you've had a few heavy nights as well together. That sounds bad as well, doesn't it? But there you go.
Me and he's a really, really nice guy. But by the way, what you see, what you get with Chris, we go back to 1996, 97, Chris, and my role was as a lender, so mortgage lending and personal loan sort of stuff, and Chris worked on the other side with a fantastic pair of guys, Judge and Bob Neal.
Judge and Bob,
and they had a fantastic setup there where they worked hard, but they played hard, and the number of times that we've been out for nights, and at the end of the night, the lights have been on, but there's nobody been in. You know what I mean by that? Yeah. So, yeah, he's a smart. We've had some great times, Dave. It's been lovely, and it's great to see Chris on here as well. Really.
Well, it is, and I'll tell you what. I'm so glad that it was an amicable breakup as well between the two of you, and you're still friends. So that's really good news. Jason, how are you feeling, buddy?
Oh, do you know what? I can't understand everyone saying how good it was. I thought it was awful. I thought there was no cohesion. The passing was terrible.
I know you're teasing us, mate.
I can't wind you up that easy. That was incredible. And you know what I want to say to start with? I don't want any discredit to Wolves' performance, because there's people saying, oh, it's not the best Liverpool side, and they're making excuses, and Klopp's making excuses. Right. We can only beat the 11 out in front of us, and there was 11 good Liverpool players out there, whichever way you look at it, and we've beat them on every aspect of that turf. So brilliant.
Mate, I'll tell you what as well. And just before we get started, Jason, I believe you brought out a little tipple.
Oh, yes, I have. Yes, it's called Wet Your Wolf Whistle after the podcast. And we've got a launch night on March the 8th at the Green Duck Brewery in Stourbridge, raising money for the 1P36 Charity Trust, which is which my daughter suffers from. So we're raising money for that charity. So, yeah, Wet Your Wolf Whistle. We'll be out very, very soon. So we've got a launch night in Stourbridge. I've plastered it all over social media. I'll send you some links to put out there, Dave, and it'd be great to see as many people as we can support the event.
Yeah, no problem. I'll put it in the chat, and I've obviously Always Wolves has shared it for you as well. Chris, just before we get started into digging deep into yesterday's, well, we've all got a smile on our face. Can you just obviously tell everyone about the Wolf Life and Acorn to Oaks?
Yeah. So Wolf Life, we're here for all of you guys, all your viewers, and people who watch it on, like tomorrow and the day after. We're here to help you out with all life insurance related and all financial services facilities. So if you want a bit of life insurance, if you want to help with a mortgage, if you want to talk to me about your pensions, I can help you with all of that. And Acorn to Oaks do all sorts of insurance. So I know some of you guys have got your own businesses, so we can help you out with any type of business insurance as well. Whether that's landlords cover or covering properties or just business PI or employer liability. We got all covered, all the bases. We're all local guys.
Based in Bilston.
Based in Bilston. Somebody was talking about Bilston Town on your.
That was my dad.
Yeah,
that was my dad, because there's a funny thing, right? Because when Wolves were rubbish a little while ago, I put it on the thing. My dad was having a bit of a rant. He said they couldn't even beat Bilston, and it went a bit viral. And yesterday, he basically were inferring that Liverpool were about the same standard as Bilston. And to be fair, the manager of Bilston has been...
Yeah, so...
and he's a top lad, and he was having a chuckle. And they've invited us down to Bilston Town at some point. Cool. So when we go down, I think there's a few of us that should get down to Bilston for a crack, go down and see a bit of grassroots football. And we're going to let everyone know when we go down. It'd be nice.
Dave, take your boots. You might be playing.
I'll tell you what, I'd love to play. Maybe I'll be like that Everton fan, on the Michael McIntyre show, and they'll let me take a penalty. Mind you, I'd say let you take a penalty, but I've seen you take penalties, Jason.
I've got other friends, Dave.
Like, to be fair, you did. To be fair, if you haven't watched me and Jason played in a charity game 2 or 3 years ago at Molineux, and Jason's quite strong. He's tall, and it was a bit like the Harry Kane in the World Cup. He had a penalty and he buried the first one, and then we had a second penalty. He thought, well, he's good at penalties. They gave him the penalty again, and it was virtually identical to the Harry Kane penalty, the second one, flying over the bar.
Apart from at the Asda.
Apart from you at the Asda. Now, just getting back onto Chris, guys. This is a local company. If you do have a business, check them out for their, for your, even if you've got a business, for your employer's insurance and all that sort of stuff, because they are local and supporting each other. And if you just want to quote for your family's life insurance, or mortgage rates are really important at the moment, they're the best place to go to, because they've got access to so many different things in the market, and they're a local company, so they care about local people as well. Fantastic. Right, let's get stuck into the game. Craig. I'm expecting the tuba to have come out today with, I'll Never Walk Alone or something like that.
When we get to 10th, I'll get the organ out, and the tuba out, and I'll do it.
It's a family show.
No.
I don't want to see you playing your organ again.
You can take that offline,
No. An interesting fact for our start that I held about. Since the World Cup finished and the Premier League restarted, Liverpool's leading league goal scorer is a guy called Wout Faes. If you haven't heard of him, it's because he's a defender for Leicester City. He scored 2 own goals in Liverpool's 2-1 win on the 30th of December. How about that? I was howling. So
they nearly had an hat-trick as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So he's their leading goal scorer this year. Anyway, what a performance! And the thing that I loved, and the thing that I'm beginning to see, is this intelligent interplay between players swapping positions, which is it's almost impossible to mark. In the first 10, 15 minutes, Liverpool players could not get close to Wolves players because of this interchanging. We looked hungry. We looked sharp. Julian's got them hyped up. Skillful players. Lamina, we've been crying out for a Lamina player now for 3 to 4 years. A guy that does the dirty jobs. And didn't Neves look absolutely world class yesterday, because Neves was allowed to do what Neves does best. He's skillful. He didn't have to concern himself with watching the back four. Lamina did that for him. I mean, it just, what a boy, what an absolute boy that is. And Liverpool's fire, just like a dragon, straight out, no messing about. Fire straight out. We bit them in the throat, so they got no fuel for the fire to go. We did them, and apart from 15 minutes of the second half, start the second half, like a defunct dragon, Dave, gone.
Put the fire out. Jason, let's come to you next, mate. What would you like to say about yesterday? Any what your points?
It was incredible. I've got to agree with everything Craig's just said. I think, we come out the blocks really quick, which is, we wasn't used to that under, obviously, Large. And under Lopetegui, I know I keep saying it, we just look a completely different side. To get a goal so early on, obviously, give us a bit of comfort. And then to get another goal was just, you could see then there was a bit of a cushion. And you know what? Full credit to Wolves, because like I said, we can't say that Liverpool were a poor side and all this. You know what? They had a decent team out. They wanted to win that game. They had some real match winners out there. But Wolves had a game plan. They stuck to it. They looked structured. They looked fitter. Listen, I can't say there was one player who was a weak link in that side. I thought they all played excellently. They all played for each other. I think Hwang as well. It was so unfortunate that he had to go off injured. It really was. Lamina looks like a breath of fresh air. Once again, I agree with Craig's points, because he does, those jobs. And we saw Neves score a goal in the box. And how often does that happen unless it's a penalty?
I'll tell you what as well, Jason. That was a lung busting run that he was putting everything to get up there. Yeah. And one of the things that we were talking about earlier in the season, we weren't getting players into the box and stuff like that. Well,
listen, at the start of the season, Neves was the centre half for us. And then you've seen him burst into the box like that and finish. And we've never seen Ruben Neves do that ever. So you just think, wow, it's just not what we're used to, is it? And we go on about the crowd, Dave. I know when we did the podcast the other night, we thought, how can we get the crowd going? And I'm not saying I told you so. Winning football, attacking football, scoring goals. And look at the crowd. If we'd have gone a goal down yesterday, instead of us going a goal, we'd have gone a goal down. The crowd wouldn't have been like that. The crowd wouldn't have been spurring us on. Let's be completely honest about it, right? We went a goal up early doors. Then we scored again. Everyone was on fire. We stopped Liverpool playing. It was an exciting game to watch. We're scoring goals, and it's no coincidence that the crowd were behind the team, and then that spurred them on for the third goal. The third goal was fantastic. We've just beat a decent Liverpool side, and honestly, we're all over the moon, aren't we? Absolutely incredible.
Buzzing. Chris, over to you, mate. What points would you like to make?
Well, echo what Craig and what we've all been saying. Fantastic performance. I thought Lamina's just set Neves free to do what we all want him to do. the run was absolutely brilliant. I thought Dawson had a brilliant game as well.
Oh, he did, mate. Oh, I mean,
incredible.
I must admit, I saw when I saw the team come out, I thought, I was a bit like Pedence not starting. I was like, okay, I'll trust him what he's doing. I thought, would he drop either Kilman or Collins the first game because of their confidence and stuff? But he brought Dawson in, and he was absolutely magnificent. And you look at Diego Costa, who's been here for 5 months or however long now, not scored, striker. Dawson could have had 2. He had a header at the back post as well. Yeah. It's like, and he was like, he made one mistake, which you could forgive him for. Other than that, he was imperious, and the way he was leading at the back line as well. It was just like he'd been there for, I don't know, for years. It was fantastic.
He was the lead. He was the leader on the pitch. I mean, Liverpool look bereft of leaders. They don't look like they've got a leader amongst them, and we just took them apart. I mean, that run from Traore when he came on, that the ball Moutinho put over, and he just looked like a beast. Looked like something out of Ace of the Dragon. He was just amazing when he came on. He was just tearing. I suppose it would have been Robertson, their left back, tore him apart. And obviously, when he put the ball into Neves to score, I did wonder whether he was aiming for the guy the other side. But Neves just brilliant control and dummied the goalie. It's just a fantastic move. And
it was. I mean, to be honest, you got the other thing that we've got to do there as well, because we've got to talk about we've got to talk about Julian Lopetegui. We've got to talk about Bruno Lage. Okay, he was incredibly slow at making substitutions. He used to be incredibly reactive. The start of the second half, we all knew Liverpool were going to come out after a bit of a, teacups throwing and whatever in the away dressing room. They come out fired up. We were on the back foot for a little bit. I thought we dealt with it very well. We, man to man, there was a fight there. But Lopetegui, you could see there was an issue. And on 58, 60 minutes, he makes a double change because he thinks, right, we need to change something. And then he brings on Moutinho for one. Moutinho's the guy that wins the ball.
Incredible.
Wins the ball, has the vision to play this perfect crossfield ball just out the way of the Liverpool defence. Obviously, Adama gets it, runs away. And then I don't know what's been said to Adama or anything because he literally had a great game. He was knowing when to go and he looked up and he pinged that ball across right into Neves. Neves' ball control was insane. It literally took 5 Liverpool defenders out with that one pass and puts it in. And I'm telling you what, Traore, we should have had 4 because he did exactly the same for Raul Jimenez, who tried that little dink. It didn't come off. He should have just literally passed it into the back of the net, really. But what I'm saying is Moutinho come on. Lopetegui made the changes. He wins the ball and he starts that breakaway move, and that killed him dead. Yeah. The game was done.
No, listen, Moutinho, I think he actually, if you watch the video, it's almost like he won it twice because he got footy and then it went away from him and then he won it again and he put that ball over and that was incredible play. And you know what? So he broke up the play. So not only did he create a chance for us, he also stopped Liverpool from playing. Just incredible.
He's still got, you see, and some people write Moutinho off and stuff like that, but I think he's still got a big role to play within the squad in terms of the leadership. He's still got that passion like a young teenager, excitement to play. You see him on the sideline when we're scoring. He's right there with us. He comes on, the game's in full flow, and he's got someone of that experience to bring on. And he just did a really good job. And I think the changes that you got to give credit to Julian Lopetegui for being decisive in his changes when he actually made them, and it made all the difference. I mean, how good was it as well, boys? At the end of the game, we got like 3 or 4 minutes to go, and we were doing the olays. I think we did about 60 passes, and Liverpool couldn't touch the ball. It was like, I remember us doing that to United one time a few years ago. The whole of Molineux was as one. And Jason, you are right with the team winning and stuff like that, and that does help. But I do think Manny's was a point as well from the other side, because obviously you see both sides. The fans came at the weekend. They came with intent to start that atmosphere. You know that I'm part of the match day experience group. The goal music went something we were pushing for. You know, and we've talked about it, and I've been quite strong in put my thoughts forward that I don't think we need the goal music. I think the crowd can get behind. I know we haven't scored that many goals, but I didn't know they were going to drop it out yesterday, but they dropped it out. They bought in a different playlist before. They brought back like the Wonder of You, which we talked about on the podcast.
Yeah.
You know, and I do think you're right.
So it's all thanks to you, Dave?
Pardon?
It's all thanks to you.
No. I think like what you said, like the Wonder of You came on as well, and they brought in a few other tracks that they've changed the track. And I think like what you said, if we can get some like stuff to
banners as homage to the former players, absolutely.
They buy into all of this, and the fans were great. There's obviously different things are going, but the fans were on it from before the kickoff. And I think that fed through. Joe Gomez coming onto the pitch before kickoff. And I think it was like the fans kind of acknowledged we were absolutely crap against Liverpool in the cup at Molineux, and it's like, right, we're going to come on our A game. Yeah. And Ruben Neves said after the match, you know, how much it meant to the players with the fans, and you know, they came out, reacted to the fans' atmosphere before the game, and the first 12 minutes in, we're 2-0 up in Dreamland. Liverpool fans were dead quiet over that side. They were like...
Yeah, Dave, that's because they was ripping out the seats at the time.
Yeah. Well, someone's mentioned that. I mean, they're ripping out the seats. I mean, Jesus. I mean, you know...
Mindless.
I just don't know why they seem to need to do that. You know, Liverpool fans are a bit down at the moment, but they haven't suffered like what we have they, Craig?
No. I'm just going to say, what impact do you think our change of manager has made on the fans as well? We've got clearly a world-class manager. He's absolutely world-class. And to see what that guy has done in 6 to 7 weeks excites me beyond... I haven't been this excited for 30, 35 years, because I honestly believe that this guy knows exactly what he's doing. He knows the game inside out. He knows the players that he wants to execute his plan. They're working their backsides off. The skill level in that squad now is off the charts. And we've also got what I call duplicate replacements, so that if one of them gets injured, we've actually got somebody as good to come in. So in the space of 6-7 weeks, we've gone from a team bereft of any confidence, bereft of any direction, bereft of any plan, to a team that's really starting to look like it's going forward. It knows its role. And I just think in 2 or 3 months' time and next season, what are we going to be doing? The future is really, really bright for us. This manager's top draw.
He is top draw, to be fair. I mean, he's coming. They're backing him. The players are buying into it. Obviously, they talked on the Wolves YouTube and socials. They talked to him about the new players, and he basically said it's not just about them; it's about the team, the squad. They're coming in to help us. You know, that you look at some of the first day footage that Wolves TV have put out and stuff like that, which I quite read. The media team do a great job at Wolves. To be fair, they've gone up a level the last 2 or 3 years, and it's really insightful seeing the players. They're going through all the different processes, meeting the team, and there seems to be back this sense that it's all of this stuff under Nuno where we had this one pack mentality and everyone was in it together, and the fans were with the players were with each other and with the manager, and we slowly seem to have got dismantled. What they've done during since Bruno's gone, eventually getting the right man, backing him, investing into the squad, bringing in the right players, the squad that's there, all the sorts of thinking like the project's now back on again, the plan's back on, and gradually, bit by bit, all those bricks that have fell out that wall are being put back together again. Yeah. and we're starting to become stronger. And I'm right what you're saying, Craig. I said this yesterday. As long as we stay up, I think next year we could be a real force. If they,
we're going to stay up, Dave. We'll stay up. There's no danger of us going down.
I think it'd be nice to get to the point where we can say we can write this season off. I.e., we're not going to get relegated. We ain't challenging for Europe, so we want to get to the point where we go, well, it's wrote off now. Let's look to next season. But obviously, there's a few points to win. A couple of teams around us won yesterday. Everton, Forest today. So there's a couple of teams, taking points. So we've still got to be mindful where we are. But that win yesterday was just incredible. And I think it was quite unexpected as well, because we wasn't going into that game realistically thinking we was going to beat Liverpool 3-0. I mean, what would the odds have been? I wasn't going to back it. But I tell you what, it was just, unbelievable win.
And Jason, it could have been 4 or 5. Nunes had a great opportunity to make it.
That one he dragged it wide. That one he dragged wide. Yeah.
Well, he hit it at the keeper, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't want to drag on about it, but he scored.
I want to make a point about Dawson as well, because I said on social media that he was a very astute signing. I did also say, and quite rightly, his stats were brought up by, I think it was Carl. Do you know what? He does get forward. And for him to get that goal, it's obviously quite typical of the player he is. And you could see how he's bringing Kelman on as well. And, listen, I think he's going to be a really, really good signing at both ends of the pitch as well. I'm really, really pleased with that. And for him to score on his debut is incredible.
I mean, that was like no messing. It was literally wallop, bang, literally straight in. I mean, he was just in the right position, and he put the ball in the back of the net. And as I said, he was at the back post, and he just hit the top of his head and looped over. It could have been another one. Lopetegui before the game, I was, obviously he knows what he's doing, but like Pedent's not in the starting line. Wang was great until he got his injury. Yeah. He obviously using that pace that he's got, and he's somehow putting some confidence. I feel sorry for the lad because he just keeps picking up these injuries when he comes back. But I thought it was a real good sign again of the crowd. When he came off, and he came off with the Liverpool side, he walked across all in front of the North Bank and then down the side, and people were standing up, clapping him. Yeah, and you could see how much that meant to him, the lad on his face. And he has had a bit of stick. But he had a good game, and I felt sorry for him because he brought him in. And then obviously he's made the change to bring Dawson in, but he's not afraid to make these calls. Yeah. And that's what you want in a manager. And I'm sure Collins is probably, who hadn't done a lot wrong recently, because he did, since his red card, he lost a bit of confidence. His form was coming back, but he still made the change, and it worked. He scored.
Brave call.
Well, both were instrumental in the first 2 goals.
How many balls, Dave, broke their line? We've been talking about it for a year and a half, haven't we? Our lack of goals. Yeah. And the amount of balls that our new midfield guys and the different running from the forwards broke that Liverpool back line we did it time and time again. For the first goal, it was that beautiful dink over, wasn't it? Split the defence for Wang to get in there. And that's the sort of ball we've been missing for 1.5 or 2 years. And I saw it so many times yesterday. It's just fantastic to see because from those balls, we're now going to start scoring goals, and that to me is hallelujah. Here we go.
And I tell you what, Craig, as well. The other thing that came from that, you know what, we had a bit of luck. But God, have we, over all this time, have we not needed a bit of luck against Liverpool? The luck always goes their way. Wang got in. He was, we've seen it back, didn't see it live, but I thought it would, he actually tries to cut it back because we've got 2 players running into the box. Yeah. It hits one defender, hits the post, hits the other, and it just goes over the line. We've earned that luck. But you earn your luck if you start putting the pressure we put under Liverpool. They didn't know what was at them. We were all over them. We've seen teams do that to us where we panic and make mistakes. We saw it against City the week before where we couldn't get out. And right from the get-go, 2-0 after 12 minutes. They were literally shocked. Liverpool could have been 3 down. They got to half time. Saw he had a bit of criticism in the last game for thingy. I'll tell you what, Dan Bentley's coming. 29-year-old goalkeeper. Saw had a poor game. You can't fault him. He made a good, solid save in the first half, just after the second goal. And he made another couple of good saves, great positional keeping. And, fair play to Saar. He bounced back, didn't he, Jason?
Oh, listen, absolutely. I have been critical of him. But, it's an important point that Lopetegui isn't afraid to make these calls. Big call with Dawson yesterday. And he might need to drop Saar at some point. And if he has to, he's got to do what he's got to do. And that's a strong trait to have. But listen, yesterday, I just think he got it right all over the park. And, like I said, big calls. But listen, some big players out there who really showed some character.
Absolutely, mate. I mean, it's nice, isn't it, to be coming on a Sunday night. And, we've had a great victory. Everyone's got a bit of togetherness. There's so much positivity out there. We talked at the last podcast when we were together with Johnny Phillips and Paul and Manny, me and you, and we were looking at the points tally.
Yeah.
We've got 3. I mean, I think most of us said around about 10. I think Johnny was about 7 because he obviously didn't think we were going to beat Liverpool. I said 2-0 before. I knew we were going to do okay because the producer, Emma, she said before the match, I've got a feeling today we're going to win. And she never says it. I said to her after the game, how did you know? And she just kind of knew. And we just had that feeling that they were there for the taking. And the guys went and took it. But the key thing is now we've won that. We can't rest on our laurels because, we've beaten Liverpool. We've got to go and put in a performance against Southampton next week, who are desperate for points. That's the big game, that is. And then we've got Bournemouth following that. Who are, again, we've got to put both of those teams to bed.
Yeah.
To bed in the next 2 games. We've got to go there and literally put them to bed.
But we can go into these games with confidence now, Dave. I mean, you look at the confidence that Lopetegui is giving the side as a whole. His man management skills are obviously first class. And, like everyone says, he's an elite manager. So we'll be going into these 2 games now looking for victories. We will, we'll be going into every game looking to win, not looking to pick up a point, looking to win. And if we can beat Liverpool 3-0, it's going to give us huge, huge confidence.
Absolutely.
Dave, if you turn that round and you asked any Saints fans and Bournemouth fans whether they want to play Wolves at the moment,
no,
they're going to turn around and say, "I'm not on your life."
Yeah,
we've got to realise we've been where we are simply through bad management, not through bad players. We've been there through bad management. Now a guy's come in, very quickly turned it round. And we're just going to go up and up and up that time. We could well finish halfway without any.
Absolutely.
Any surprise to me at all.
Yeah.
I know. Well, we're going to get on to now our performance ratings and our man of the match before we do the wheel question. Guys, we've got over 300 people watching live on the show tonight, which is fantastic. If you're brand new, if you subscribe to the channel, you'll be able to join in all the guys in the comment section below. And don't forget, if you want to support the channel and become a member, that's even better. That'd be amazing. Right. Who wants to go first with their performance rating and the man of the match? Jason's waving. How you doing, mate? You're right. You're going to go.
Performance rating 10 out of 10. And I genuinely mean that. We've beat Liverpool 3-0 at Molineux and we played well across the park. 10 out of 10, 100%. Because if we win games like that week in, week out, we're going to be saying that's a 10 out of 10 performance. Doesn't matter who the opposition is. Like I've said, you can only beat what's in front of you. Man of the match for me, it was a toss-up between Lamina and Dawson. I'm going to give it to Lamina. Just looked so comfortable on the ball, so assured in possession. For me, Lamina, and Craig put it brilliantly. He does the work, does the dirty work, if you like, and he was allowing other players around him to play. I just thought he was magnificent. The moment of the match for me was that those 2 or 3 touches by Martinho, where he broke up the play, then he won it back, then he knocked it out to the wing to Drury. and effectively made that goal. Listen, it was just, as you say, Dave, imperious across the pitch. 10 out of 10, and man of the match for me, Lamina. Fantastic.
Right, Chris, let's go to your moment of the day. Could be anything. Man of the match and performance rating.
Oof, moment of the day. I'm afraid Jason stole my thunder because I was just going to say that play by Moutinho, 5 seconds, wins the ball twice, puts a ball over that was just on a sixpence, exactly where you want it to be. And then Traoré just showing Robertson a clean pair of heels, pinging the ball in. I mean, that just like 10, 15, 12 seconds of play was absolutely fantastic. And for Neves to dummy the keeper, and that was just loved it.
And then on his knees, sliding down and going like
exactly.
that.
I mean, how good was that?
You see how much the club means to Ruben Neves as well, don't you?
Exactly.
I mean, you just and Neves scoring a goal inside the box.
Yes. What's going on?
I know. Fantastic. So who did you give your man of the match there?
I'll say I was torn between Lamina and Neves. I'm going to say Neves because you put the ball away, but Lamina and Dawson were also superb. And it was a 10 out of 10 performance. All these people, we've all heard people saying, "Oh, Liverpool aren't playing well." We've just beaten a team full of internationals who were
2 games away from winning the quadruple last year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We made them look bad. They did, we made them look bad. We were absolutely brilliant, and we should all be proud of ourselves. And Southampton and Bournemouth should be scared.
But don't forget, Klopp said that second goal shouldn't have counted.
Well, he took through his hat sometimes, doesn't he?
Let's go over to Craig. Same questions to you, mate.
Yeah, 3. You have a full house. You have bingo. I'm a 10 out of 10. Jason,
wow.
If you're going to beat Liverpool 3-0 at home, that's got to. If you find fault with that, no,
yeah, exactly.
We're never going to be happy. Lamina.
I did actually give it a 9. Because I thought we could have won by more, and I've got to give him a little bit of room. I have given 110.
I'm going to fall out with you like Manny did the other week if you start giving Wolves a 9 after that performance.
I know, and I gave it a 9 because I think there's more to come.
Lamina, man of the match, for all the reasons I've said. He now allows that midfield to tick, and we're going to see some amazing football because he does the dirty stuff. My top moment was actually something that happened in about 17 minutes of the second half when Liverpool looked as though they were going to score. We had every single man either on the 18-yard line or behind the defending to stop that ball going in the net.
You want about the one that came out to the edge of the area and he hit it?
And finished off by Adama doing a bicycle kick to clear it. When you've got your whole team desperate to stop the opposition scoring, you know that you're going in the right direction. And I absolutely love that.
Yeah, too right.
Absolutely fantastic, mate. Absolutely brilliant. I'll tell you what, it is brilliant. I mean, hey, Jason, Manny's giving it me now as well from the thing.
Brilliant. Good luck. Manny's going to be outside your house.
I'm normally like the one that overrates everything as well, and I'll tell everyone else for being thing. Anyway, it's spin the wheel time, so let's spin that wheel and go with the wheel spin, and let's see what comes up this week for you guys. Can you see the wheel?
Yeah.
We're going to spin that wheel. We've done this one. We're not doing that one.
We've done that one.
Okay, we haven't done this one for a very, very long time. So it's a Wolves question. You can sign anyone for Wolves tonight. Who would you sign? One final signing after the transfer window. Who wants to go first with that?
I'll go.
Go on.
I would sign Erling Haaland. I just think as a striker, as a centre forward, there's just so much to his game. Sorry, Craig.
You've done him again. You've done him again.
Sorry.
Jason, that's a great chance, I have to say.
I did say he gets in there. He don't mess, Jason. He's straight.
Yeah, exactly that.
We don't sign Erling Haaland.
For me, Erling Haaland, all-round player. He's I'm not going to compare him to Bully, but he just scores goals when you think he shouldn't. He's strong, he's mobile, he's just got everything in his locker. Skillful, and he can get you 30-odd goals a season, so it's a no-brainer for me.
Absolutely fantastic. We will now go on to Craig.
Virgil van Dijk. I'd like him at Wolves.
A fit one.
Yeah, I think his organisation and his ball plays is outstanding. We'd have a spine then to die for, wouldn't we? So,
with Erling Haaland as well.
Yes.
Absolutely fantastic. Okay, Chris.
Well, you know what, Jason and Craig, it doesn't get a lot better than them pair, does it? It's got on form, I suppose. Casemiro at Man United's doing quite well. That'll make our spine complete. And to be fair though, would he get into our midfield at the moment? I'm not sure. But Haaland, that's
a great share that was, Jason.
Yeah, you beat us to it.
Mason Greenwood's available.
I don't think of anyone who takes Greenwood. I just don't.
You know what? Someone actually put on Twitter. They put, "Would you take Mason Greenwood?" What sort of question's that?
Yeah, he needs to go away, and
go away.
That is ridiculous. I was like,
it'll take him a long time. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want to talk about that, but I don't think United will have him. Someone will take him at some point, and he's going to try and rebuild his life and his career, and try and rebuild himself in some way. But like,
I'll tell you what though, Dave,
take him, it would come with too much baggage.
A player on some serious form who lives his life right off the pitch as well. Marcus Rashford. I mean, what a player he's turning into.
Yeah.
You could have looked at him 3 or 4 years ago, and he was in a bit of a Danny Welbeck mode. Is he going to make it? Is he going to be a top striker? Now unbelievable, great player.
Jason, and isn't that a typical example as well of what a good manager and a bad manager can do to a player? Rashford was ahead of it 12 months ago. Now he's back to what Marcus Rashford plays like because of how he's managed.
It was Neves that did this first.
Rashford's gone from a 20-30 million pound player to now a 60-70 million pound player.
And he's got confidence. Well, and again, you can see that coming. Anyway, that kind of concludes. Jason, just remind everyone about your whistle beer thing.
Whitney Wolf Whistle, 8th of March, the Green Duck Brewery in Stourbridge, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. We've got a Motown DJ raising money for the 1P36 Family Trust. If you look at me on my socials, there's loads of opportunities to obviously get tickets. I think half the room's sold already. And it's the night before an Albion podcast, the Liquidator podcast, doing something live down there. So we've got to get down there. We're going to make sure it's a busier night than theirs, and we're going to put loads of Wolves stickers everywhere. So when them blue and white Tesco carrier bags walk in, they'll know that the Gold and Black Army have been there.
I love it. I love it. Chris, from you?
From me?
Yeah, just for your Acorn to Oaks again.
So we're here for all you guys, Acorn to Oaks. We'll help you in any way we can. As Dave said, if we can help you with a mortgage, get you a new deal, we deal with every lender out there, and we're just here to help. You're all local. Probably going to speak to me, quite frankly, and we just want to help all Wolves fans, even maybe Albion fans, but probably not.
Dave,
I'll help everybody.
Just to let your listeners know, this guy's as straight as a die, which some in financial services are not. This guy will be absolutely straight with you, so you don't have to worry about talking to him about anything at all. He's a good lad.
I know he's a good egg. He's a really nice bloke as well. And, fill in the form below, and you can even get in the draw for some Wolves goodies as well. But the link's in the description below. If you're thinking about your life insurance, it's important. It needs to be done. If you're thinking about mortgages, if you're thinking about employer stuff, get in touch with Chris and he'll help you.
Absolutely.
Anything financial. And Craig, we should say that you're the musical director of a very top brass band, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. We've got the Midland areas in 2 weeks again, so we're hard at it and enjoying it. But rehearsal's so much sweeter when your team just busted one of the best teams in the world. Not just this league, everybody knows worldwide Liverpool top class, and we absolutely kick their backsides. And Wolves fans, if you're listening to this, if you haven't had a look at all the Liverpool podcasts on YouTube, do yourself a favour. You don't need to spend money on Peter Kay. Just watch the podcast.
It's comedy gold, isn't it?
Comedy gold.
They are off, but there's a
Absolute
language
meltdown.
Oh, it's just what am I watching this load of crap for? Why do I bother? Why do I bother? Oh, calm down.
I like that. I don't know where he is. The chap, he's in a different country somewhere. He's got the beard and stuff like that. I mean, he's the funniest one of the lot. I don't know. Oh, it is funny, but yeah, it's like comedy gold. It's well worth a watch. Just look for it on YouTube and stuff. If you watch my stuff on YouTube and put Liverpool and Wolves in, you'll find it. And there's a few compilations out there, so watch that.
Brilliant.
Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. And the guys in the chat, we've got 300 watching, as I say. We've had some new subscribers already join, but every single one of the guys got the secret word in, and they all said it. So if you were listening carefully, you might have spotted the word. And I was chuckling to myself because they were very, very clever how you got the word in. So well done indeed. And I will be asking towards the end, because we've got another 4 pundits coming to see if you can spot what the secret word is this week. So you'll have to keep watching. Jason, Craig and Chris, love you guys. Thanks so much for coming on. Absolutely. Till the next one. See you in a bit, guys.
See you, boys. See ya.
See you later.
Brilliant contribution there from Craig, Jason, and Chris. Where are we? There we go. Now we're going to be bringing on Manny. How you doing, mate?
I'm okay, mate.
Lucy. Can you turn your camera around, Lucy, a little bit?
No. Oh,
there we go. Love it. We've got Josh and we've got Chris. Now, Manny, we can't see any picture for you.
Can't you?
No. Can anyone else see that, Manny? Or you can just see what I see, which is just a black screen?
I can see myself and I can see all of you guys, so I don't know what's black.
Yeah, we can't see it. I'll just show you on the on the thing. So how do I do that?
I ain't got a clue because I can see myself next to all of you guys.
I don't know how to pitch that there.
Let me try. Let me just try and go do it on my phone because I'm
log back in because you were there, but we can't. We can hear you. We can't see you.
We'll tap the stop camera, Manny, and start it again.
No, camera's there. I have just clicked on it a couple of times. Right. Sorry, everybody. I'll be with you shortly.
Okay. We'll see you in a second. He's back.
Hey. Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're back.
Am I there now?
Yeah, we can see you now, mate.
Okay.
Absolutely. We've got the Molineux backdrop as well. Lucy, welcome to the show, mate. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you, Chick. Yes, I'm all right. How are you?
Look at your little smiley face today.
It's there. It's big and beaming.
Big and beaming. I'm loving it, Lucy. I'm loving it. Josh, how are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks. Yourself, Dave?
Yeah, mate, I think we're all got a smile on our face tonight.
Yeah.
We all have. And Chris, tell me, you're not actually at home, are you? You're somewhere in the world tonight.
I'm in a lovely place called Tallinn, which is the capital of Estonia.
Can I ask, why are you in Estonia? You're not scouting for Wolves, are you?
Well, I don't want to drag on about my own work sort of stuff, but I'm here for a meeting, so that's all.
They don't have Zoom in Estonia or anything like that.
Well, yeah, sometimes you have to look people in the eye, Dave, and stare them down.
Right, there's nothing like. I mean, when we do the podcast, to be honest, I gotta say, I love all the stuff online, but it's really nice when we get together to do the general podcast like we did the other week. You probably saw the one with Johnny Phillips and stuff like that. It was a great podcast, and it's really nice meeting up and having a natter and talking like that. There's nothing like it. Call it old fashioned. That's how it used to be back in the day.
Yeah.
When me and Manny, when we did the first podcast going back 3 years or ever ago again before the pandemic, Manny, that was in person. They were the first 2 or 3, 4 were in person anyway, weren't they, Manny?
Yeah, fabulous occasions, to be honest.
You can't do that anymore though, Dave, because you're in hiding from Manny, aren't you?
He's next to me. I can punch him from here.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We've got this theme going on this year. I don't like it.
It's good. It's good.
But yeah, we've got to get back on the tennis courts as well soon when it's when it warms up. But hopefully, get back on the tennis courts thing. Anyway, let's kick off first with Manny.
Yeah.
What's your points that you'd like to make about the weekend's game, mate?
You know what? I know you asked me earlier. My father's been in hospital most of January in India, and yeah, he's got a few problems with his heart, but he's okay. So he's getting better. And we rang him after the game. We rang him, and he goes, "Bloody hell! I'm supposed to stay calm. This is like, how have Wolves beaten Liverpool 3-0?" He was absolutely buzzing. He was, and believe it or not, his doctor is Portuguese.
No way.
Dr. Agon is Portuguese, and he knows all the Wolves players. So obviously he's a big fan of Neves and Moutinho and all our Portuguese legends. And so he had a good natter with him as well about the game. So points about the match, mate. It was in our lifetime, we haven't, a lot of people's lifetimes, we haven't beaten a top elite side at Molineux by that scoreline in that way ever. We've beaten Chelsea 2-1, we've beaten Man City 3-2, we've had good performances and we've had comebacks and we've done well, but we've never just took it to a top team, got in front, weathered a little bit of a storm, and then went again. And literally, in the end, took the P. We passed it around and took the P.
Alley.
Liverpool players were chasing shadows. Thiago Alcantara is one of the greatest midfielders the Premier League's ever seen, I think. He was chasing shadows. He came off that pitch wondering what had just happened to him. Our midfield totally and utterly dominated every blade of grass. And it was just, when I heard you gave 9 out of 10, Dave, if that's 9 out of 10, forget the scoreline. Forget it. Even if it was, if we'd have beaten Southampton 10-0, that wouldn't have been 10 out of 10. This is Liverpool at home, and we took them apart and we won, and we should celebrate these moments.
Oh, I have celebrated it. Don't worry about that. These
don't come, that often. Teams don't take apart sides like that often. So absolute unbelievable occasion, day, before, after, during, pre-match. It was right. It was spot on. When you start with that right intention, I was talking about it before. When you start with a positive intention, I ran a half marathon in the morning, and when I got out to run the half marathon, I thought about everybody in the streets out roaring me. So as I was running, I was imagining all these people flooding out on the streets, cheering me. And when I finished, I broke my personal best by nearly 10 minutes. And
wow,
I hadn't run a half marathon for over a year. The thing is that psychology, what Neves talked about, is when the crowd are up from the first minute. Players get to second balls first. Players run half a kilometre quicker. Josh is an athlete. Oh no.
Try to be.
But when you're Josh, you go on a training run on your own, you do well. Yeah. But when you're in an actual race day and all the crowd are cheering you,
the adrenaline.
You don't know what happens. The adrenaline rushes through your body. That's exactly what happens to the players. So if we're just silent, it's the intention. It's not about the goals, and that the goals are always going to give us celebratory moments and singing songs. Everyone sings when they're winning, but you got to sing when you're not winning. You got to sing when you're losing. Yeah, that is the true sign of an elite mentality. And Neves keeps going on about it. He points to this There's a reason. It's not just a celebration. There's a reason, because he also does that realization. He needs that crowd. He wants the buzz. He wants the shouting. He wants the singing. He wants to feel the atmosphere, because it makes him taller. It makes him faster. It makes him stronger. And guess what? You're going to perform better. And guess what? You're going to win matches. So that intention from the fans has to be from the first minute till the last. And you should go home, sore throats, onion lemon, and lie down and bask in the glory. So.
Absolutely, mate. A great start to this segment as well. We're going to go on to you, Lucy, next. That big beaming smile that I can see the joy in your face for that. I mean, what points would you like to make?
Dave Lopetegui is a genius in my eyes, in many of my family's eyes that went to watch that yesterday. The mentality that he had when we first saw the team news, we did look and go, oh, it's a bit strange. No Podence, we've got no attack, and putting these new players on. Do we know that they're going to gel? And everybody keeps on about, oh, they're going to gel. And oh my God, they were fantastic. They seem to have played for years together, and it just worked. There wasn't anything that I could say that was bad yesterday. The whole thing from start to beginning, from start to the end, it was just brilliant. The music, the way that the fans felt, it was just the biggest buzz yesterday. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And walking out of there, singing the songs and cheering each other on and putting arms around each other again. Oh, I'm still got goosebumps thinking about it. It was brilliant, absolutely fantastic day.
Still buzzing, Lucy?
Yes. Yes, I am.
and I think you said that you said exactly all of us feel. Josh, so tell everyone about your athletic stuff before we move on.
So it's been a bit lower than normal at the moment, but I'm slowly getting back to it. So I do a lot of running. Running was my main my main instance, my main discipline. So now I'm looking at a Tough Mudder this year. I've done London Marathon in 2018, which is a massive achievement, as well as raising around $3,000, I think it was, for Parkinson's UK, because both my granddads,
Well done.
And now another close family relative, has got Parkinson's. So it's a close to home charity, and it was like Manny says, and the adrenaline London Marathon got you. I mean, I was running a minute. I trained at, if anybody knows the running terms, I was training at 9.5 minute miles, which was my marathon pace. And I was averaging for the first 7 or 8 mile 8:20s.
Wow.
So I was knocking a minute off a mile in my first 7 miles, which was a bit stupid. I mean, I couldn't help it because it just felt natural to do that pace, because everyone around you.
With you?
Yeah, I'd say it was 28 degrees, and that year, hottest on record. Now my work keep laughing when I say that, because I keep mentioning that. But 28 degrees, I should have probably gone slower, but the adrenaline's pumping, it just gets you going, which I think is what the players, like Neves was picking up on, like Manny says, that boost that you can give and the adrenaline push is massive.
Absolutely. And what sort of points would you like to make about the game yesterday?
Played really well. I thought we were organised. I thought we looked confident at the back, confident on the ball. The play across side to side was brilliant. My brother said as well, there wasn't that noticeable long ball either. Everything was in triangles. I thought it was pass. Like if you come backwards to the back, the 2 centre halves, it went back into the middle, then left, forward, back into the middle, forward. It was all like little triangles and pockets, the way we were working the ball when we had it. I know people have been on about the atmosphere, and we said it in the transfer deadline chat that it needs picking up on. And I thought it the last few weeks, I thought the first 5 minutes, the last few games, I think the crowd have been there, and then we've conceded early, and it's just gone down like that. And I think the 2 goals in the first 11 minutes, it just put the noise in the stadium up to a completely another level. And it continued on. And And so the only thing I will say, I know we're going a bit officiating usually, but I don't know if anyone else noticed it. The amount of foul throws that Trent and Andy Robertson had were ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. The 1 point down by the South Bank, Billy Wright side, Lino was literally right by Andy Robertson, and he's basically literally stepped on the pitch. And the Welsh dragon that is Tony Roberts, as me and my brother like to call him, has gone absolutely ballistic at the line now, saying, "What are you doing?" He's gone absolutely nuts. And that's the only thing that knocked me off yesterday. And I know that's the small thing, but you're professional footballers. I mean, I could even see some down at the Steve Bull side of the North Bank. And Trent's foot, they usually, if the foot glides across the floor, you see the toe drag. Trent's foot was 2 or 3 inches off the floor. Well, that's just a little niggle anyway. But all in all, I thought we played really well. The team looked binded and it was all working together.
It was fantastic, mate. It was good. Chris, what? Obviously, I think you probably watched it on a stream. I'm guessing if you were traveling.
No, I went. I was there. So.
Oh, you've travelled today.
Yeah, I flew out of Birmingham at 4 this morning. So yeah, I went to the match. The word I would use to describe it was perfection, and not just from the players. The players were all very good. Every single one of those players did their jobs. They did what we wanted them to do. The manager approached the game in the right way. He made perfect substitutions. The 4 minutes, which is my moment of the day before you ask, at the end of the game where we didn't give Liverpool the ball was fantastic. I can't remember a Wolves side ever doing that for that long, ever. It was just the whole day, the crowd, the atmosphere, the songs at the front. It was just one of those days where everything was right. And look at the result we had. It was fantastic.
It was absolutely brilliant. And to be honest, when you like you say, when you're laying against Liverpool and like they can't get the ball off you, and for them, you could see Clough on the sideline. You could see that when that happens to you, you just like want to sink. You could see their players just
they just did not know what to do. They did not know where to go. I mean, they just looked bamboozled. In the first 5 minutes, that Thiago, he did a no-look pass into midfield, and I turned around my son and said, "Well, hell, that was a pass and a half," and thought it's going to be a difficult game. And then, you know, he may as well have been an 18-year-old kid they threw on that was just told to run around, because he wasn't really running around. He was strolling around at the end, but he just hadn't got a clue. And I think Manny said he's one of the best footballers in the world. He just did not know what to do.
Did they? Manny, I want to come on to you because obviously we talked quite extensively and there's been a lot of conversation, obviously on the podcast and on this show last week, you know, generally about in the last week or two about the Molineux atmosphere. The club's taken action. They made some changes to the pre-match as well. There's stuff going on off the field. You know, that they got rid of the goal music. I think you mentioned that in one of your tweets.
I did, yeah. You know what? The start of the game, bringing back The Wonder of You. It was a song that we could recognise, and you just saw a few people starting to sing it. So if we can have a regular anthem like that people can join in before, you know, hi-ho, Wolverhampton as well, that created an atmosphere. And you know what? The only thing that I think they did wrong was at the end, fans were ready to sing again and they put bloody music on. You know?
Yeah, they put the right at the end, didn't they?
Yeah. And sometimes, you know, the goal music, you're about to celebrate and then you drown the celebrations with goal music. And then when the goal music stops, we stop. So you don't hear any fans, you know, and it worked. There was an era for goal music, but it's not Premier League. I don't think Premier League is an era for goal music. Goal music should be like when you're like maybe a non-league club and you've overachieved and you've beaten someone really high up in this league.
You're breaking up, Manny.
Am I there?
Can anyone hear Manny?
Manny's going through a tunnel again.
I thought he was doing Norman Collier.
I am sorry about this. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
We can hear you now, yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on. Sorry about that. But all I was saying is, you know, it was a different aura, wasn't it? It was a different aura from the Liverpool match. Even Man City away, I was frustrated because we belong on the same pitch. We still belong on the same pitch as Man City and Liverpool. We're going toe to toe with these teams, right? We have got really, really good players. Now we've got a good manager. We shouldn't be fearing teams. There's no, I mentioned it in another tweet, is we shouldn't be using words like free hit. Free hit, again, like I'd say, is like a lower league team playing a Premier League. We're playing in the same bloody league. Man City lost today. Spurs are not that brilliant. They lost today. They lost.
My brother said free hit before the game, and I said, "No, you can't use Liverpool as a free hit. You've got to at least
any game, mate. Any game in our position is a chance to take points. Yeah. And if you don't approach it that way, guess what? A lot of the time you're going to lose, and then you lose 3-0 and think, "Oh well, it's Man City." But your approach has got to be right. And I think Lopetegui, what he does, which is the most impressive thing, is he learns very quickly. He picked the wrong lineup to start at Man City. And then
he kind of insinuated that after the match as well, didn't he?
Yeah, and at half time he changed it. He saw, even though this for me was a 10 out of 10 perfection performance, he also saw Liverpool were starting to get on top. They were starting to get some possession. Yeah. They were starting to keep the ball. And guess what he did? He didn't wait till the 70th or 80th and hoped they didn't score. He went, Moutinho, Raul. Raul was crucial. People have talked about Moutinho. Do not underestimate the job Raul did.
He holds the ball up the neck.
Cunha went down in the second half. He got up, limped a bit. And then he looked shattered. He looked like he was knackered, like the wind had been taken out of him. When Raul came on, he took us further up the pitch straight away because Adama was literally on his own after coming on. So that gave us, and Moutinho, he just gets fitter every year, doesn't he? And
he's like Benjamin Button.
He's unbelievable. And both of those, Moutinho and Raul, took us further up the pitch, and we started to play again. And that's how our play started again because of the decision Julian Lopetegui made. The man in the chinos is the best manager I think we could have ever attracted. I was straight down Primark. They didn't have any, so I tomorrow.
How funny does it come back round that lad who was wearing chinos years ago, the Brentford fan on the train station, we've now got a bloke wearing chinos on our touchline.
On our touchline, yeah. We were singing all sorts of chino songs in the Steve Ball. I mean, absolutely amazing performance. And also, the last thing I want to say about that performance, for the first time in a long, long time, I saw a player who I would give a 10 out of 10. Everyone was 8s and 9s. Everyone was 8s and 9s. There was no one below an 8. But Mario Lemina was 10 out of 10.
Super Mario.
When he signed or when he was linked to Wolves, all of us thought, that's what we thought. We didn't think, wow, what a signing. Where has he been?
He's been eating bloody spinach for 2 years because he was for Southampton.
When he came on in his first game against West Ham, he looked good. He looked really good at Man City, didn't he, Dave? Even though he was getting beat. And at Liverpool, he dominated. He did his role as well as you could ever do the role. I can't think of anyone else almost in world football that could have done that role the way he did it because it was Liverpool. And I'm trying to think, which other player would you have had instead of him from the world of football? And I don't think I would have had anyone. That's like crazy. It was a 10 out of 10 performance, what he did in midfield. And
he's got, I tell you what, Manny, as well, he's got some skill on the ball. There was like one move where he had 2 players on him. He did something and created 3 yards of space out of nowhere.
I don't think he lost the ball. Whoa. I can't remember him misplacing a pass or losing the ball. He did all the dirty work. He covered so much ground. He closed every angle that Liverpool tried to find. Liverpool like to thread balls, through to their forwards and play little passes. He just found himself in the right position to basically intercept everything. And, the other thing, I remember turning around to someone and said, we have just introduced 2 players, Mario Lemina and Craig Dawson, both who have played Premier League football before. And guess what? They look like it, didn't they? They look like they've played there all their lives, because they weren't 2 guys that we've picked up from abroad. Will they settle? Are they any good? These were like, they've done it. They've already been in the Premier League. They know what the league's like. And both of them were absolutely imperious. So huge win, huge statement of intent, huge bar that we've set ourselves. We can't go to Southampton and think it's only Southampton, or Bournemouth and it's only Bournemouth. We as the fans have got to have that same intensity. We can't just say we started singing at the start because it's Liverpool. We've got to do the same. We get to Southampton. We've got to do the same at Bournemouth. And we've got to frighten these teams. Teams become frightened, and our players become lifted.
We made that mistake against Bournemouth away, didn't we, when they got tanked 9-0 and then they drew 0-0 to us.
Yeah. Well, that's always going to be rash. Yeah. But Josh, before I get on to Lucy next, after Josh and Abby, as mentioned, no one's meant. I was going to bring this up, but actually, so the timing's really good. Sarabia, what did you make of him, Josh? And then Lucy.
I was impressed. I thought him and Cunha, because it was like a 4-4-2. When you watched, when we first started, Nunes was on the inside and you had out Nuri running out. But about after the 15th minute, we moved Nunes out onto the left, and you're having Sarabia and Cunha up front.
You went to 4-4-2, didn't they?
Their link-up play, and my brother said it, they were like 2 false nines. They were both getting the ball, both coming in, and either, say, if Sarabia had the ball, Cunha would go the other side. You'd have your 2 Nunes and Hwang coming across, and vice versa. I thought the link-up play was, what's the word I'm after? Sublime. He put the ball over to Cunha for the goal, didn't he?
It was to Wang.
That's it. It was. Yeah. He'd come deep, dinked it over.
Brilliant.
And created the chance. I thought his link-up play, his build-up play was brilliant.
And he's everywhere.
Yeah. I thought he was a lot smaller, and actually, I thought he was like a Moutinho height, and so I wasn't at City. And when he come on when I saw him yesterday, I thought he's a lot taller than you thought he was on paper, because he looked small built. I automatically thought he was like 5'7", 5'6", but actually, you look at him, he was taller than Thiago.
Yeah, he's got a very athletic build. Lucy, your thoughts on what Manny and Josh has said there, and don't forget, everyone, you've got to get your word in. There's only Josh so far got the word in.
Well, you've missed mine then, haven't you?
Manny has.
Manny, yes, you got yours in as well, didn't you? Very clever.
I've done mine and all.
Sarabia, I thought he was a dragon's breath of fresh air, to be honest. I thought he was on fire. I loved him. I thought he was brilliant. The link-up play was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Brilliant.
That's brilliant, that is. He really was. Chris, I think
all as well. Brilliant.
What do you say, Lucy?
The speed on the ball. He was just brilliant. Couldn't fault him at all. Great lad.
Chris, I think I did miss yours. Can you rephrase that sentence, because I think I missed it?
Yeah, okay, I'll do that, Dave. I think I'm just coming back to Manny said about the team and the manager. We've got a really good set of subs now. We've got like for like good quality players that the manager can drag on at any time onto the pitch, and it's just put us to a different level. There's a lot of teams around us that don't have that in-depth bench, and that'll tell us as the season goes on.
Earlier on this season, Dave, just going on to that, we looked at our bench and we looked at it at the end of last season, and we had Cundles and the Campbells and we had all these players, and we're thinking, what's going on? We brought on Adama Traore, Raul Jimenez, Joe Moutinho, Johnny. This is ridiculous that we brought on players with that much experience. It didn't weaken our side at all. Actually provided us more experience in trying to manage the game. And that is, let's be honest, we have to take our hats off to our club and the owners who have paid big.
And we have been very critical, wasn't we?
Yeah, we have. We've all been
very, very critical.
They've paid big money on the backroom staff, big money on the manager, and then whichever player he's wanted, they've gone out and got. And look at how our side suddenly looks transformed just from a few weeks ago. you know. So hats off to everybody for recognising that they were failing, for Matt Hobbs being appointed, for the manager being appointed, for the changes they made, the pre-match changes you've just talked about with the matchday experience group. You know, the directors, they listen. You know, they people can have a go, and they got rid. So Scott Sellers, people weren't happy. Guess what? It's on his bike. You know,
It's almost like they're watching the show, Dave.
You what? Sorry, Chris.
It's almost like they're watching the show. When we start going on about something,
I do know that Russell watches a lot of the stuff. I know Russell watched and listened to all of the Johnny Phillips podcast and stuff, and they do listen to things. It's not just here; it's like other channels. You know, they listen to other podcasts. They obviously listen to the stuff that's on socials, and they get the feedback and stuff. And obviously, they've got the different groups where people are feeding back in. I'm feeding back in stuff that I'm hearing into that group as well, along with other people. And you know, I didn't know they were going to be making as many changes as they did. Like the goal music, I didn't realise the goal music was going to go this week, but it did.
You know what, Dave? I think it all starts from
playlist.
Lopetegui. It starts from Julian Lopetegui. Yeah, the manager is the most crucial person at a football club. The manager, he sets the tone. You know, when you see him, he's not indecisive, is he? He just says, right, I'm going to do this. 3 players, bring them on. He makes decisions very, very quickly. And what that does, it sets like an ethos around the club where you see the main man making quick decisions. Guess what? Yeah. You also then want to make changes and be a bit braver. So I think the whole management team, the whole structure, the whole club will feed and bounce off the kind of person and personality he is, and they all mirror that. That's what happens. You know,
he's giving clear direction, isn't he? He's you can see he's clearly directing them as what he wants to do, and if you've got that, it takes away the confusion, and then that confusion that we had was making mistakes. Now it's clear they know what they've got to do. He changed the way they were playing the ball around at the back yesterday. They
hardly played it.
Saar was practicing spraying the ball out 25 yards further up, all before the game. And then, you know, as soon as we had it, he was knocking it. None of this ping pong, which we were getting all upset about 2 weeks ago. So he's obviously told them, and that's it. And it's great to see it happening.
They did do some of that, but like what you said, they didn't do it constantly. They mixed it up. They played the diagonal balls. Saar kicked the ball long from time to time. You know, so Liverpool they couldn't just set. We weren't predictable, were we? We were unpredictable.
No. Adama was killing him in the air. Second half, he was winning every header.
His jumping has been unreal the last 2 months.
Like a fish, a salmon.
Yeah.
He gets so high against people that are bigger than him. He jumps. And
it's like someone's told him, look at the power you've got in your legs. It's not just about running. Your hamstrings will be that small because you've got that much strength. You'll be able to springboard up in the air, and the air time you get is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, in the back a lot yesterday, I've got to say. He was pushed in the back all the time yesterday.
Stop
he was
him
trying
from
to get
jumping.
mad.
And we didn't hardly got the free kicks. When we did get one, there was a big, sarcastic applause. You got to say, fair enough. I mean, we talk about Traore. He played. His decision making was good. His jumping was fun. He looks like he's really trying, giving everything. I think it was. I don't know. Was it you? I'm not sure whether it was you, Chris, or earlier on. It might have been Craig. That when that defensive wall that we put in when the ball came out to was it Mane or someone?
Yeah, it's Craig. He said the overhead kick. Yeah,
and the ball bounced out, and he literally flung his leg to clear the ball away to get it away, and that showed how committed he is. Now I do want hopefully he signs a new contract or whatever. I know he gets some stuff, but we don't want him to go for free. But we'll see what happens with that. Right, we're going to go round and do our moment of the day, performance rating, and obviously man of the match. Who wants to go first?
Ladies first.
I'll go first. I'll let Lucy go first.
Okay, lady. Go on then, Lucy.
Thank you. Especially not when I'm at the match, but never mind. Right, I'm going to go for a 10 out of 10. Dave, I'm sorry, but your 9 out of 10 just doesn't stick with me.
In the bin.
All,
In the bin,
at
mate.
all, baby. That's just wrong. 10 out
Okay.
of 10 all day long. It was fantastic.
And guys, start putting your match rating and man of the match in the chat as well, please. So 10 out of 10. Go on.
Yeah, the boys put a proper shift in yesterday, and I was proud as punch of every single one of them. Every single one, they were brilliant. My man of the match, you can't give the manager man of the match, but I'll give it to Lamina instead. Yeah, it was fantastic. He was up and down that pitch. He was leading from the back. He was just great, and he managed to give Neves the opportunity to come forward, which we've been missing for so long. So that was really, really encouraging to see. So yeah, Lamina.
And your moment of the day?
I think it's got to be Star's first save.
Star's first save, yeah, okay.
How we got to that, I don't know, but wow, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Oh, and I've got to say, happy birthday to my Uncle Derek today.
Is he watching?
He should be. I've told him to.
Happy birthday, Uncle Derek. Fantastic. Chris, over to you, young man.
All right, well, match day rating, Dave. I'm going to take the opportunity to turn you into Mr. Negative for once. You're always Mr. Positive, but I'm going to go for a 10. So you're officially the worst score. So, yeah, it's a 10 from me.
I'm getting absolutely roasted.
Man of the match for me was Lamina. We haven't had a midfield general in our midfield since Paul Ince left the club. And that was a midfield general applying his trade. He was winning everything, setting things up, starting up, retrieving the ball. Exactly what we need to do to let these other players play football. And I think he was my man of the match. Moment of the day, I think I already said, was the keep ball. I've not seen a Wolves side do that ever. We're always used to hanging on and biting our nails and anything else that we can bite at the time.
That's so true.
And I didn't feel like that yesterday. I was just laughing and clapping because you could see what was happening and you could see the effect it had on Liverpool. And I just thought it was great.
Fantastic, mate. Josh, we'll go Josh then, Manny.
Match rating has to be a 10. I was fully expecting at least, minimum a point, maximum a point, if I'm being honest. I did not see us winning, although Liverpool have been out of form. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. Man of the match for me has got to be Mr. Craig Dawson on the basis of goal and clean sheet. What more? He'd have walked back into that room, in the changing room, high as a kite. He'd have been fantastic. I mean, he's contributed to a goal and he's contributed to the clean sheet. That's his clean sheet's his job, but getting a goal is even more. So that's my man of the match. My moment of the day also involves him again, and it links back to his interview and the behind the scenes video. When he's doing the photo shoot, you hear the bloke taking the photos in the background go, do a celebration as if you've scored. And he
that was funny.
I don't know what to do.
He couldn't put himself to do it. He was laughing.
I don't know what to do. And he does like a little shy like that. He pushes his arms like that. And whether something clicked in his head when he was down by the Billy Wright, he turned up to somewhere whether it was family, and he proper went where he did that shy one in the studio. He did a proper shake of the arms and screamed. And it's as if something clicked in his head. There's my celebration. I'll do it properly now.
Well, he's on the front cover. That moment, he's on the front cover of the Extra Time thumbnail.
That is my moment of the day because the parallels to the interview where the bloke says he does that shy shake of the arms. The cameraman says, "Oh, you never know," and then he's gone and scored, and he's done it, actually properly done it, the way he shyly did it in the behind the scenes. So that's my moment of the day.
Absolutely fantastic. And then for you, and then we get the wheel after that. Manny, moment of the day. We know your performance rating's 10, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, if you could give more, you give more. It was like, I did expect us to get something, and I expected us to show a real positive reaction. But there's no Wolves fan that sitting here that thought we were going to beat Liverpool 3-0 the way we did. So it's a 10 out of 10 by far. One of the best, greatest performances I've ever seen a Wolves team give ever. We've had better comebacks and stuff, like I said, but this is like you're taking apart a premier proper outfit. They've won everything, haven't they? So my man of the match,
all of you as well, because he did. If you've watched the reaction, he did give him a 10 as well.
Yeah, my man of the match. Lamina was. I told you it was 10 out of 10 performance. I haven't seen 10 out of 10 performance. So, but I will go with Josh because centre half, experienced, organizer, clean sheet, score on your debut. He's the best ex-baggy we've ever had since Steve Ball already. Already, and like you, Dave, you said earlier, it was like he'd been there forever. He was like he's been our captain. He was a captain at the back. He wasn't he was a captain at the back. And I know we don't want to mention the CC word, but one thing I have to say is Julian Lopetegui recognised that. I think he has. He recognised there was missing leadership in our staff. Guess what? He bought in his John Ruddy, Mr. Bentley, 400 appearances, and he bought in his Connor Cody, Craig Dawson. So Bruno Lage got rid of him, and he bought him back. In different
he's also bought in additional leaders like in other areas like that Lamina. As well, he's kind of like a leader on the pitch. He was like setting the standard, wasn't he? As well,
spine of the team. Right,
the moment of the match. Moment of the match. Actually, I'm going to agree with Chris, but there's something linked to that. Jurgen Klopp, at the start of every game, every team he plays, he stands on the halfway line with his hands in his pockets, looking really arrogant and smug, and watches the opposition train. So we were watching him closely. We were filming him. My son was using the phone, filming
you
him.
You often get into the game and watch all
We get in 1 hour. We get in over an hour early. We got in 90 minutes early. I don't think there's anyone in the crowd before we got in. And we like to, because my son's into coaching, and we like to watch all the coaching, all the drills, and he takes notes and everything. And you see what he was doing and the way he was watching. He doesn't need to watch us. And it's almost like a show of arrogance. I'm watching you. I'm Mr. Klopp. And the guy is completely, utterly arrogant, which is good in a way, for a manager to have, but you got to show some humility. And he showed no humility towards Wolves, in any of his words afterwards. So my moment of the match was when we at that end, I was looking at that dugout and all you saw was Lopetegui in his chinos. Klopp was buried inside the dugout, nowhere to be seen.
Yes.
And we produced 64 passes with only
it was a joy. It was
one interception, and once a Liverpool foot got near a ball and just deflected off and everyone then stood up and applauded, and that was goosebumps.
That was
everyone just thought, wow, this is my season ticket paid for.
It was a real, fair play last moment.
This is what, people who have been depressed, people who have been struggling, people who have been out of work, people who have been suffering, loved ones, whatever people's strife is, at that moment, they're standing up, they're applauding, and they're welling up with real emotion and love for their club. And that moment has been missing, hasn't it? Let's be honest, it's been missing for a long time. So that was my moment of the match, and long may it continue.
Fantastic, mate. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, for me, my moment, I love the Alays, the Neves goal, throughout the first goal, the Dawson defense, the goal. But I did have a laugh. And coming back onto what you're on about with Jurgen Klopp because of his arrogance and stuff, when the whole of Molineux was singing "You're getting sacked in the morning," and Klopp was just stood there like this, and he was kind of like trying to laugh it off. It was priceless. I really kind of, because exactly what Manny says. He has got an arrogance, and I don't think that's a bad thing in a way. You want that arrogance, but give credit where credit's due to the other team. And he's like in the FA Cup, all the other stuff, he never does. And he kind of got it back yesterday in spades. And you're singing to Jurgen Klopp, who is one of the best managers in the world, that has won 6 trophies with Liverpool, took them to within, 2 games of winning the quadruple last year, and allaying them and singing "You're Getting Sacked in the Morning" was just absolutely bloody brilliant. And I couldn't help but laugh. I was just thinking, this is Molineux banter at its absolute best, and it was just a joy.
Can I just say one thing? I just want to say one thing. I will include this before we go. We don't need to sing "Sign On, Sign On."
I agree, 100%.
I raise funds for food banks in Wolverhampton. Wolverhampton's got more poverty than Liverpool. 32% people are asking for handouts. We need to back our team. Use your voices to back your own team. Have the banter with the away fans, but don't use your voices to sing a song that means absolutely nothing. It degrades yourself as a human being. So I hate when that's sung, to be fair.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point as well. We've got to move on from things like that. Have the banter, sing the funny songs like that stuff. But it's all stuck back in the 80s and stuff like that, some of that sort of stuff. So, it's a good point that you make. We don't need to. We're better than that, basically. We're better than that. Right then, let's bring on the spin the wheel to finish off. And guys, you can now put in the chat, have you spotted the secret word that the fans, the pundits were saying? I think a few of you might have spotted it, but I'm hoping you have. Can you see the wheel, guys?
Yep.
Here we go. If it's one we've had, this is quite a good one. I don't think we've had this one for quite a long time. So we're going to go with it. What would you do if you were invisible? Hold on, Manny's.
It's classic. Where's Manny gone? He's already invisible.
He's gone invisible.
Manny's answer was hide from the chat.
The question is, as I've just read out, what would you do if you're invisible for a day? And he just disappeared off the screen.
I thought I'd do it for real.
Right, that was, oh man, you do crack me up. Okay, Josh, I'm not going to give it a choice. Josh, you're going first on this. We're going to go in this order. Lucy's going to have the last word. We're going to go Josh, Manny, Chris, Lucy.
So I had this one a few months back, and my response was, it was after the Leicester game, I think it was actually. My response was go into that dressing room and see what the hell was going on. I'm going to say it again now because I reckon the changing room yesterday after the game would have been electric, and I just would love to have been in there to experience how everybody felt.
Oh, mate, it would have been absolutely brilliant, wouldn't it? And carry on, Josh.
So having that on 2 different ends of the spectrum within the space of 3 months, I think just shows how far we've come in the last few months under Lopetegui. So to have been in there and experience what was said by the manager after the game, after a big win, and going into the next few weeks, what the feeling would have been like as the players, and see if the motivation is there with the players and everything.
Absolutely brilliant. Manny.
What was the question?
So the question was, what would you, because this is why we were laughing, because it came up, what would you do if you were invisible for a day? And then you disappeared off the screen.
What would you do if you were invisible?
For a day.
Oh, man. You know what? It's all got to be Wolves related, I think. We're just on such a high. Is to go for a coffee with Ruben Neves, right? And try and find out what it would take to keep him at Wolves forever, and then obviously try and make that happen somehow. Just going on to that, the guy will only ever become a true icon and legend at Wolverhampton Wanderers. If he moves to PSG or Barcelona or Real Madrid or Man City, he will just become another player on their long list of legends. At Wolves, he'll have streets named after him. He'll have stands named after him. He'll have statues put for him. If he wants that, then he has to stay at Wolves. Ruben, stay at Wolves.
Yeah, someone just take this bit of what Manny's just said, send it to Ruben or Ruben's wife. Stay at Wolves. We don't want you to ever leave. We love you. We'll pay you whatever you want. You're our captain and a leader, and we want you to lead us to cups and trophies and Europe again. And it's going to happen under Lopetegui. So yeah, that would be good. I like that one, mate. Chris.
I think I'd like to be invisible somewhere where they're making decisions. I mean, somewhere like, I don't know, some big political place with bloody presidents and prime ministers, or
the
even
VAR room, even.
Well, no, because they're already invisible there, aren't they? A load of invisible idiots. But no, somewhere where there was something that you're not normally privy to, so you could sit there and watch, and you know, especially these places that make decisions that you don't understand why they are, so you can see all the facts and all the things act out and that sort of stuff. That's what I'd like to try and do, instead of sitting there and getting frustrated about it.
No, I like it. I like it. That brings us up to you to close the show with this one, Lucy.
Yeah, and I haven't got a daft one today. Damn, everyone's going to be all disappointed now. No, I'd like to be invisible for the day and go on the team coach when they go away. Oh, because they look like they're having such a laugh.
That's a good answer.
Each other, they're just buzzing, they're laughing so hard with each other. I love it. So I'd love to go on the team coach.
That's a really, really good answer. That is. Guys, that's a really good one. It's really good. Guys, it's been brilliant. We've just done our 90 minutes plus added time coming up to the end of the show, which is absolutely fantastic. It's been a great show tonight. It's been an absolute joy. You know, we always try with extra time and with the podcast and everything on this channel to reflect everyone's views, and we've had some tough times, haven't we? Yeah. We've had times where we've been really people have been angry, frustrated, you know, down, depressed, full of no hope, you know, believing and stuff, and we've been through that. It's been tough. It's been a tough time being a Wolves fan. So I think what's reflected on tonight's show, you know, and reflected again in the atmosphere as we've talked about over the last week, and we've started to see the green shoots of recovery, is that joy and that belief and that hope all starting to flood back. And
it could have been Michael Beale.
Yeah, well, do you know what, Manny? It's funny you should say that, because I was thinking that on the way back from the game yesterday. I was just thinking, what if it had been Beale? I mean, we'd have got behind him, but like,
would he have attracted these players? Would he have had that aura? Would he have had that?
Well, I don't think so. Yeah. And
we'd have been beaten 1-0 by an awful Liverpool team.
Yeah.
And you know, you've heard of like sliding door moments. He could have accepted that job, and
easily,
and he didn't. And thank God he didn't, because
we need to. Everyone, if you ever see Michael Beale, buy him a drink, shake his hand.
We should have him on here as a special guest.
He only comes on places that's got Rangers in it, so I don't think, unless he goes to Stafford Rangers, we've got no chance. Anyway, guys, you're absolutely right. It's great to do a show. We're all happy. We're going to have times where we're going to be upset with things and stuff like that, because that's the nature of football. But it's another step forward. And like you said, like a lot of people have said tonight, we've got to back that up now. It's a great win against Liverpool. You know, the team's looking like they're starting to believe in the project and what Lopetegui is doing and in each other, and the confidence is coming back. We've got to go and put Southampton and Bournemouth to bed in the next couple of games. And if we do that, you know, I think we need 5 more wins probably out of 17 games to be properly safe. Could there be 2 or 3 draws in that? And we're getting there, aren't we?
Could get
In 6
could get-
games, he's double the total in 6 games.
Yeah,
He
so
hasn't
we got
even, he had Julian Lopetegui hasn't even started with Wolves. He's only had 6 games, and he's doubled our total.
I know it's crazy to think, isn't it? And you know what? We want to be going to the Arsenal game, last match of the season, you know, in our fancy dress or whatever it is we go as.
We can still catch them, Dave. We can still catch them.
It's the game before, Dave. It's the big one. We need that. We need to be dead and buried by that point against Everton. Well, not say dead and buried. We need to be done by that point.
Oh no, this is what I'm saying. We don't want to be going into that game having to win it.
Yeah.
And you know, because they might be. I mean, they might have won the title by there. We'll probably, you know, I can see now the Wolves players coming out in the guard of honour, clapping them out. Well done. We're still in the Premier League, and boy, enjoy your title this year, guys, because we're coming for you next year. That's what we want. And on that note, I'm gonna end the show. Thanks ever so much to everyone in the chat. If you've enjoyed it, please smash a like. If you're brand new, please subscribe. If you're watching it back in catch up, again, leave it in the comment section below your thoughts on what we've talked about. And if you're listening to it on the podcast, leave us a rating on there. Final words, one-liners for everyone. Manny?
Upgrade to 10, Dave.
Great to 10. Lucy?
Wolves, we?
Josh?
Nice.
Just a homage to Neves with his celebration. I think, therefore, I play.
I love it. I love it. Chris?
Just a happy game, happy day.
Enjoy. And from all of us here, from all the guests, and to all of you, love to you and your families, wherever you're watching the world, always Wolves.
Always Wolves.
Always Wolves.